أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير اللهم فقهنا في الدين رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما. Inshallah, today's lesson is we're going to do Surah Yusuf, Ayat starting from 80 to 92. And I want all of you to open up your Musaf and follow word to word. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Falamma, so when. This is ayah number 80. I don't want you to feel lost. Astaysu, they despaired. When you see waw alif at the end, then it means it's more than two people. This is the sign. If you see this or you see waw noon at the end, that also mean it's more than two people. So in this one, it says they despaired. Min who. This is combination of two words. Min of who, him. Khalasu. Again, you see waw alif at the end. So that means it's plural, more than two people. So they secluded themselves. Najiyan. Najiyan is private consultation. Qala, said. Kabiruhum. Kabiru mean, Kabir is big or eldest. Hum, them. So together, Kabiruhum, the eldest among them. Alam. Mean, alam, together we say do not. So is do and lam is not. Ta'lamu. Ta'lamu, you know. And again at the end you see waw alif. I want you to, if you have a pencil, not with the pen, with the pencil, you can make a small circle around it, waw alif. So you know every time now you come across when you are reading your Quran, you see waw alif at the end. I want all of you to remember this. Every time you see this, it means it's more than two people. So we were at ta'lamu, you know. So it means you all know. Anna, that. Abakum. Aba mean father. Kum, your. Qad. Qad akhaza. Has taken. Alaykum, upon you. Kum at the end mean you. And look at the word abakum. At the end, you see same letters. Aba, kum, alay, kum. So kum mean you, alay, upon. Aba mean father and kum, your. So now you learned two things. You learned kum and you learned waw alif. These two things you need to remember. Also, we say alaikum. Do you remember this word? When do we use it? When somebody say assalamu alaikum to you, assalamu alaikum. And we say wa alaikum. This is same word. Upon you. So we say assalamu. Salamu mean it's peace. Alaikum, upon you. Mausikan, a promise. Min, by. Allahi, Allah. Wa, and. Min, qablu, before. Ma, that. Farrattum. You see now at the end is tum. That is also you. Farrattum, you failed. Fi, concerning Yusufa. Yusuf alayhi salam. Falan. So, because there is a fa at the beginning, so fa at the beginning means so, and lan is never. Abaraha, will I leave al arda, the land, hatta, until ya'zana, permits, li, me, abi, my father, Abi is the same word as aba. Aba kum. If you make it like divide it into two, aba plus kum. Same way we have aba, but in this one at the end there is a ya. It's not kum. So when it's you see aba and ya at the end, that's mean my. But when you say kum, that is yours. So I just want to let you know that if you check these two words, they are both same except the ending part. So in this one, the one I just mentioned in the ayat after li, then you have abi. So it is supposed to be aba, but since we have ya at the end, so now you see abi, but it's the same one as the top one. But the only difference is because of the ya at the end, now the meaning changed to my. Instead of you, it is my. O or yahkum, decides. Allahu, Allah, li, for me. Wa and huwa he. Khairu is the best. Al Hakimin of the judges. Now ayah number 81. Irji'u, return, ila, to. Abi, look at the end. Abi at the end is kum. Again, you see we read it up there. Abakum. This is abikum, your father. Faqulu, and say, and waw alif at the end. You notice that? They say, Ya Abana, O our father, inna, indeed, ibnaka, your son, Saraka, has stolen, wama, and not, shahidna, we testify, illa, except, bima, of what, alimna, we knew, wama, and not, kunna, we were, lil ghaibi, of the unseen, hafizin, guardians. Ayah number 82. Was'ali, it means to ask. When you ask somebody a question, that's what it means. And ask. Al-Qaryata, the town. Allati, where? Kunna. Kunna is combination of two words. One is kun and one is na. So if you break it down into two, kun plus na. At the end you have na, which means we, and kunna, were. So we were. Fiha, in it. Wal ira, and the caravan. Allati, which. Aqbalna, we returned. Fiha, in it. Wa inna, and indeed we. Lasadiqoon. Remember I was telling you if you see waw alif or waw noon at the end, it means more than two people. Now you see the example of waw noon too. Lasadiqoon, surely truthful. Qala, he said. Bal, indeed. Or you said like nay, in English. Sawalat, have enticed. Lakum, for you. Anfusukum, your souls. Amaran, something. Fasabrun, so patience. Jamilun, is beautiful. Asa, perhaps. Allahu, Allah. Ay yatiyani, bring them. Bihim, yatiyani, bihim, bring them to me. Bihim mean to me. So ain yatiyani mean bring them. Bihim, to me. Jami'an. Jami'an mean all together. Like we say in Urdu, we say jama. Jama, what is jama? Mean you like add. You include everything. You count them in. So jami'an, all. Innahu, indeed, He, huwa, he, al-alimu, all-knower, al-hakimu, all-wise, wa, and tawalla, he turned away. This is ayah number 84 we are doing right now. Anhum, from them, wa, and qala, said, ya asafa, oh my grief, ala, over, Yusufa, Yusuf, wabiyaddat, and became white. Abiyad, if you see that word in Arabic, abiyad mean white, like aswad. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the colors in Arabic. Aswad is black, abiyad is white. So with this one, the meaning is wabiyadat, and became white. Aynahu, his eyes. Min, from, al-huzni, the grief. Fahuwa, and he was. Kazim, a suppressor. Ayah number 85. Qalu, they said. Now you see the word they, because we have vaw alif at the end. So keep circling this thing, the one I'm mentioning. That's why I'm paying attention to it, so you don't forget it again. Qalu, they said, which is why we say they, because of vaw alif at the end. Tallahi. Tallahi, like I swear. Like we say, by swear, I swear to Allah. So this is kind of like a swearing word. Tallahi, by Allah. Tafta'u, you will not cease. Again at the end, waw alif. So when we write in English, you, so it not means singular. It means you, because we look at the word, it means you all. Tazkuru, remembering. Yusufa, Yusuf. Hatta, until. Takuna, you become. Haradan, fatally ill, like sick, you become very sick. Aw, or takuna, become. Min, of. Al-halikin, halikin, from the word in Arabic also, and in Urdu is the same, like we say halak karna, to kill someone. So it is same thing. Halikin, those who perish. Qala, he said, this is ayah number 86. Innama, only. Ashku, I complain. Bathi, of my suffering. Wahuzni, and my grief. Ila, to. Allahi, Allah. Wa'alamu, and I know. This part, in innama ashku bathi wa huzni ilallah. This is, subhanallah, very beautiful dua. This is dua which he is saying. So we can also remember this dua, we can memorize it. So every time something bad come to us, we can start reading this dua, that I only complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about my suffering and my grief. I'm not complaining to anybody else, only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah knows what's going on with me. Wa'alamu, and I know. Min, from. Allahi, Allah. Ma, what. La, not. Ta'lamun, you know. Again you see at the end, Waw noon, so you all know. It's plural. Ayah number 87. Ya Banayya, O my son. Idhabu, go. Fatahassasu, and inquire. Min, about. Yusuf alayhi salam, wa akhihi, and his brother. Wa, and. La, not. Tayasu, despair. Min, of. Ruhi, ruh is mercy. Allahi, of Allah. Innahu, indeed. La, none. Ya'yasu, despairs. Min, of. Ruhi, mercy. Allahi, of Allah. Illa, except. Al-Qawmu, the people. al-kafirun. And you see waw noon, the disbelievers. Falamma, so when, dakhalu, they entered, alayhi, upon him. Dakhalu is also same. Dakhala and waw alif at the end. So they entered. Now you know that every time they said they, it means more than two people. Alayhi, upon him. Qalu, qalu, again, waw alif at the end. They said, Ya ayyuha, O al-azizu, aziz, massanna, he who has touched us, wa ahlana, and our family, ad-durru, the adversity, wajitna, and we have come, bibida'atin, with goods for trading. The one, like, it could be money, it could be some other things they used to merchandise they bring to trade. Musjatin, of little value. Fa'awfi, but pay in full. Lana, to us. Al-kaila, the measure. Watasaddaq, and be charitable. Alayna, to us. Inna, indeed, Allah, yajzi, rewards al-mutasaddiqeen, the charitable. Ayah number 89. Qala, he said, Hal, do, alimtum, you know, there is tum at the end, so which also mean you. Alim means from knowledge. Alim, know, tum, you. Ma, what? Fa'altum, again, fa'ala. In the beginning you see fa'ala, and tum at the end is you. So fa ain lam fa'ala mean doing something. You do something. So here fa'altum, you did. And the just letter before we see alimtum, from ilm, you know. Bi Yusufa, with Yusuf, wa, and akhihi, his brother. Is, when, antum, you were. Again you see antum, combination of two words. An mean were, tum, you. Jahilun, ignorant. And pe you see at the end waw noon, that is plural. Ayah number 90. Qalu, waw alif at the end. They said, a innaka, in the beginning mean it's for the question mark. You see hamza and then you see fatha on it. That is for the question. Are, innaka, you indeed. So in the beginning is are, and inna mean indeed. You see kaf at the end, kaf with fatha, that is you. La anta, surely you. Yusufu, Yusuf alayhi salam. Qala, he said, Ana, I am. Yusufu, Yusuf alayhi salam. Wa, and Haza, this. Akhi, my brother. Qad, indeed. Manallahu, Allah has been gracious. Alayna, to us. Innahu, indeed he, because we have inna, which mean indeed. At the end, it's who. Who means he. So innahu, indeed he, man who, yattaqi, fears Allah, from taqwa. You all know what taqwa is. Remember, we talk so much about taqwa. So same word, yattaqi, fear Allah. Wa yasbir, and is patient. فَإِنَّ, then indeed, Allah, la, not, yudi'u, let go waste, ajara, the reward, al-muhsinin, of the good doers. Ayah number 91. قالوا واw alif at the end. They said Tallahi. And if you remember, still remember Tallahi, what I told you? It is for swear. By Allah. Laqad. Certainly. Atharaka. Preferred you. Allahu Allah. Alayna. Over us. Wa in. And indeed. Kunna. We have been. لخاطئين. Sinners. With khata, from khata, I'm sure like you probably don't know in Urdu and in Arabic also khata mean it's like when you do something bad, mistake, sin. Ayah number 92, which is last ayah for today's lesson. Qala, he said, la, no, tathriba, blame, alaykum. Still remember alaykum, right? Because we just talked about it in the first ayah today's lesson. Alaykum, upon you. Al-yawma, today. Yaghfiru, will forgive. Allahu, Allah. Lakum, for you. Wahuwa, and he. Wa mean and, huwa, he. Arhamu, the most merciful. Ar-Rahimin, those who show mercy. So we finish our today's ayat, the translation, inshallah. Now we will come to our tafsir. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Last time if you still remember, we talked about when they went to take their load of the grain, food, camel load, and Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, he plotted something because he wanted his brother to stay with him. So he put that thing, the cup or drinking vessels, something like that, he put that in the bag of his brother. So then he was asking, what is the punishment for that in your country? And they said the punishment of that thing is the person who steals something is gonna be with that person, the person from whom you stole. So you will stay, the person will stay with them as a servant for a whole year, uh, like a servant, yeah, slave basically, not servant. Servant is a small word, so it's kind of like a slave. You stay with them. So now we will start from after that, what is going to happen. So we talked about that they now Benjamin was going to be staying with him, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, and they were requesting now. They were like brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam. They feel really bad. They were like, no, we already promised our father that we will bring him back, and we did like a strong prophet like promise, fast promise, that we will take care of our brother, we will bring him back. And now how can we go without him, because it's so embarrassing. And they didn't want to do that because they already remember the time with the Yusuf alayhi salam. They said same thing, and then they didn't bring him back. So now they were like, oh no, it's the same thing gonna happen again. How are we gonna face our father? So everybody was like so upset by hearing this thing, that Binyamin, the youngest one, is gonna be staying there. So they were asking him that, is it possible if we can exchange people, like instead of Benjamin, if you can have our brother, the eldest one, you can keep him there. So then he said, no, if I do this, then it's not right, because I will be wrongdoer if we take innocent person instead of the guilty one. It is only the person we take is the one who is guilty. I cannot take the innocent person with us. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates to us that Yusuf's brother were desperate because they could not secure the release of their brother Binyamin, even though they had given a promise and sworn to their father to bring him back. They were unable to fulfill their promise to their father, because even though they have promised him, promise their dad, but they couldn't do it because this comes to the when it comes to the ruling of a country, there's nothing, it's a law, you can't go against it. So they had like a promise, but still they couldn't fulfill it. So now they don't know what to do. They cannot go back to their country without their brother, nor they can be here. So they were like, we don't know what to do. So they all got together in private. All the brothers, they were like away from people's eyes, and they consulted among themselves. So they all sat together, and then they were like, like in a group, and they were discussing what should we do, what is the next strategy we need to do. We don't know what to do. How should we face our father now? How can we go back? So the eldest among them, when they already asked Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam that if we can exchange. So he refused. He said, no, I'm not going to do it. So now these people don't have any more options. So when they were sitting together discussing, the eldest among them said, and his name was, which is mentioned as Rubil or Yehuda. So it could be either of them. We don't know exactly which one. So it could be Rubil or Yehuda. So he was the eldest one. And he was the same brother. If you remember in the beginning when these brothers were like plotting against Yusuf alayhi salam that we will kill him, we will take him out, and we will just, they were planning to take him out for a picnic, something like that, and they will kill him. But this brother, the eldest one, he gave a suggestion. He said, no, instead of killing him, why not we just throw him in the well? So this is the same brother who said that. And he said that we should not know you not that your father did take an oath from you in Allah's name, that you will return Binyamin to him. However, you were not able to fulfill this promise, and before you cause Yusuf to be lost from his father. So therefore, I will not leave this land. So this is what he was deciding. He was saying that no, I don't think this is appropriate. We promised our dad, and we promised the same way we did, like with the when it was like the time of the Yusuf alayhi salam, we did the same thing, and now I feel ashamed of doing that again. So I don't think I'm gonna leave this place. So I will stay here in Egypt. I will not leave Egypt until my father permits me, means allow me to go back to him while he's pleased with me, because I know that I am the eldest one. So he was feeling he's more responsible, because that responsibility is more on the shoulders of the eldest one. The youngest one are like they don't know too much. So if it's somebody who is the eldest in the family or in the group, they have more responsibility to take care of all the younger ones. So he was kind of feeling like bad that I'm not fulfilling the promise what I did to my dad, and I feel bad leaving this place. So I'm not going to leave my brother alone, Binyamin, here. I will stay here because I know my dad is going to get angry with me. So I will rather stay here until he become happy with me. He's okay, he's pleased, he allow me to come back, then I will go back. Or I will wait until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides something for me by using the sword, or they say by allowing me to secure the release of my brother. So whatever happen, I will just wait and see. If my dad allow me to come back, then I will go back, or I will wait to see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has planned for me. So whatever will happen. I'll just wait, sit and wait here. So he next ordered them to narrate to their father. He said that when you go back, you tell our father about what happened, so that they could present their excuse about what happened to Benjamin, and as claim their innocence before him. So Reuben said to them to say to their father, or we did not know that your son had committed theft, So they said, go tell the dad, your father, that we had no idea that your son, he stole something. So he was like a, he's like a thief. This is what they're trying to say, that he stole something, and we had no idea about when he did that and why he did that. So then they said that we did not know that Benjamin stole something that belonged to the king. We only stated the punishment of the thief in reference to Egypt or another town. So it's like the punishment in that area, in the state where they were. So they have to go according to the rules, what they decide, because they are in their country, so have to follow the rules, what they say. And the caravan in which we returned about our truthfulness, honesty, protection, and sincere guardianship. And indeed, we are telling the truth. And they always say that. Remember the last time too, also with the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, they were saying, we are telling the truth, even though we are telling the truth, but we know you won't believe us. You won't trust us. So they are saying the same thing again. Indeed, we are telling the truth in what we have told you. The Binyamin stole and was taken as a captive, as a compensation of his theft. So then Yaqub alayhi salam said, your own selves have beguiled you into something. So patience is most fitting for me. Sabrun jamilun. It means I will just be patient. That's the only thing I can do, and that is the best thing to do when somebody is in sorrow. And then he said, maybe Allah will bring them back all to me. Truly, He is all knowing, all wise. And then he turned away from them and said, alas, my grief for Yusuf, and he lost his sight because of the sorrow that he was suppressing. So this father, he loved Yusuf alayhi salam so much that after he gone missing, he used to cry a lot. He cried to a point where he lost his sight. He became blind now. Now he can't see. So this is like his love was so much for Yusuf alayhi salam that made him cry all the time. And with the excessive crying, he became blind. And these brothers, they said, by Allah, you will never cease remembering Yusuf until you become weak with old age or until you be of death. And he said, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, he said, I only complain of my grief and sorrow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I know from Allah that which you know not. So Allah's Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam repeated to his children the same words he said to them when they brought false blood on Yusuf's shirt. He said the same thing. And when they went back to Yaqub alayhi salam and told him what happened, he did not believe them and thought that this was a repetition of what they did to Yusuf alayhi salam, because it just like give you a flashback of the time, because same thing was happening again. So it just reminded him of Yusuf alayhi salam. The same thing happened to him, and now exactly that is happening to my other son. So the next is, he then begged Allah. He didn't say anything to them. Instead, he was making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring back his three sons. Now you know he has three sons in Egypt. One is Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, other one is Binyamin, and the eldest one, which is Rubil. So now before he lost one son, now he has lost three sons. So he's begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please bring my three sons back. So Rubil had remained in Egypt awaiting Allah's decision about his case, either his father's permission, ordering him to go back home, or to secure the release of his brother in confidence. This is why Yaqub alayhi salam said, maybe Allah will bring them back all to me. Truly, He is all knowing in my distress. Only Allah is the one who knows everything. Allah knows what's happening to me. Allah knows what I'm going through, what is happening inside my heart, how sad I feel. Only Allah knows that. Allah knows my distress. The all wise mean that when we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all wise, that means in his decisions, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do for us, whatever happened to us, that is Allah's decision. And in every decision made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a wisdom behind it. None of the thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do is without a wisdom, even though it looks bad to you. When you see something going totally opposite of what you were expecting, still at that time, think like this: no, even though I don't like it, it's not going in the direction I wanted. It is, in fact, going in something totally against me. But you should have this firm belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a wisdom. Allah is doing with the wisdom, and there is some goodness in it for me, even though it looks bad. But I have this trust in Allah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will get something good out of it for me. So, this is all wise mean Allah's decision and the decree. And next, and he turned away from them. So Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam was talking to all of them, and then he turned away from them and said, my grief for Yusuf. Again, he felt so sad. He remembered Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. He turned away from his children and remembered his old grief for Yusuf alayhi salam. The new grief. So now you see two type of griefs he have. He had old grief, which is for the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Now the new grief is for Binyamin and Rubil. Now all these two, the new grief one, it renewed his old sadness that he kept to himself, because he didn't want to express himself in front of his own children. Because what happened when you are sad or you feel like bothered about something and you keep repeating it in front of other people, what happened? People listen to it one time, they listen to it second time, third time. After that, everybody get annoyed. They don't want to listen to that thing again and again and again. Now they are like, okay, can you get out of it, please? It's been a long time now. Can you just, it's been so long. Why you keep talking about it? Get over with it. People get annoyed. So then what happen if you have some kind of sorrow inside your heart? Then you don't mention it to other person. And you feel like, okay, I'm not going to talk to anyone about it. People don't understand. People don't want to hear this thing. So this prophet used Yaqub alayhi salam, he was doing the same, because every time he mentioned something about Yusuf alayhi salam, his brother would get annoyed. So Prophet Yaqub stopped saying anything, and he would just keep everything inside his heart. And he wouldn't mention anything in front of his kids. And he said, my grief for Yusuf alayhi salam. And he lost his sight because of the sorrow that he was suppressing. So he was suppressing so much inside his heart that his eyes became white. It means he gone blind. So, and then again, even at that time, he did any complain. He never complained Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why you were doing this to me, why you did everything this, why I'm the only one, why me, why me, why me, why there's so many people out there, they don't get anything bad, I'm the only one going through tests and trials, everything bad happened to me. So he never said anything like that. He was very aggrieved, he was very sorrowful and sad. So Yaqub alayhi salam's children felt pity for him and said, while feeling sorrow and compassion, they say, by Allah, you will never stop remembering Yusuf, no matter what we do. They didn't say this to him, but this is what it means. Like, you will never stop remembering Yusuf. All the time, you just write Yusuf, Yusuf, Yusuf. So you will keep remembering him until you become weak with old age or until your strength leave you. So it's like these, like either one of these things happen, otherwise you are not going to change. You will continuously remember him until you become very sick or you die. So next, they said, if you continue like this, we fear for you that you might die of grief. So this dua which I mentioned, innama ashku bathi wa huzni ilallahi, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam said in reply to them, I only complain of my grief and sorrow to Allah, when they said these words to him. Of course, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam was hurt when he heard these things. Nobody likes it. So then he said, he read this dua. This is what he said. I only complain my sorrow and grief for the afflictions that struck me to Allah alone. I anticipate from Allah each and every type of goodness, and I know from Allah that which you know not. So, what it means, the vision that Yusuf saw is truthful, and Allah will certainly make it come true. This is what are we talking about? We are talking about the dream. Remember that the surah started with a dream? This is the talking about the vision that Yusuf saw in the beginning. So Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam is saying that indeed the vision of the Yusuf is truthful and Allah will certainly make it come true, because he that kind of the trust he has on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the tawakkul he has on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remembers, like their dreams of the prophets are the true dreams. So he said that it is going to come true one day. And then Yaqub alayhi salam ordered his children to inquire about Yusuf and his brothers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states that Yaqub alayhi salam, peace be upon him, ordered his children to go back and inquire about the news of Yusuf and his brother Binyamin in a good manner, not as a spies. Like, I don't want you to go there and act like you're some suspicious person. Just go there, because he was feeling really sad about it, that he has two sons in Egypt, and Egypt is like what, a foreign country. You have no family there, no relative there, and it's just a foreign country. You lost your three kids there. Of course it's depressing. So he said, you go there with good manners. And he also encouraged them, delivered to them the good news, and ordered them not to despair of Allah's mercy. He ordered them to never give up hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nor to ever discontinue trusting in Him for what they seek to accomplish. He said to them that only the disbelieving people despair of Allah's mercy. So if you are a believer, you should never doubt Allah's mercy. Always have a hope that my Allah will make it work out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open a door for me when there is no door I see. So if you don't believe in Allah like that, then it means the person is a disbeliever. So we should always have good hopes with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter what, no matter how bad that situation is. Always have a hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do what is best for me in this situation. Now, next part is the brothers are now in Egypt. They came back to Egypt and they came in front of Yusuf alayhi salam. And they said, "O Aziz," even at this time, they don't know it's their own brother. So they are saying him Aziz. Aziz is, all the people who are there like a king, like on a very big post. They're called Aziz. So Aziz is not a name here, it's a title. A hard time has hit us and our family because of severe droughts and the scarcity of food. And we have brought but poor capital. Like, what does it mean? We brought money for the food we want to buy, but it is not substantial, according to one of these scholars. And then they say they're requesting him that, can you please give us food? But we brought this merchandise, we bring this with us, it's not enough, very little we could get. But is it possible if you take whatever amount we have, even though it's not enough, and give us full camel load in return for the little money we brought? Give us the full measure that you gave us before. So they give full load on our animals and be charitable with us. So charitable here means like returning our brothers to us. Be charitable with us. Do sadaqah with us. Do something good with us. And that is in the way of returning our brothers. And when another scholar was like, he asked about it, like, what is this? So he said it was like prohibited for any prophet. So what we need to know, that if somebody is true prophets cannot take charity. Only other people can take charity, but the true prophets, they do not take charity. They do take gift. If you give them, they will take it. But if you say this is a sadaqah, this is a charity, the true prophets, they cannot take it. So they were asking him that if he can give full camel load to them like he gave before. So even though we don't have too much money with us this time. So Yusuf alayhi salam reveal his true identity to his brothers and forgive them. So Allah says, when Yusuf's brothers told him about the affliction and hardship and shortages in food they suffered from in the aftermath of the drought that struck them, and he remembered his father's grief for losing his two children, he felt compassion. He felt pity. He felt mercy for his father and brothers. He felt this way, especially since he was enjoying kingship, authority, and power. So he cried and revealed his true identity to them when he asked them. So he when the brothers explained their whole situation, like what they are going through, how poor they are struggling, they don't have enough food to eat because of the drought in the area. So it made Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam cry, because here Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam enjoying all the blessings. He was a king, so he was enjoying poverty. It says power, not poverty. So he was enjoying power. He was enjoying authority, kingship, and in comparison to that, his family members were in poverty. They were poor. They didn't have food to eat. So they were struggling for everything. So it made him cry. And then he felt bad for them. He felt sorrow for them. And then he asked them, do you know what you did with Yusuf and his brother when you were ignorant? This is what Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam asking his brothers. Like when you separated between Yusuf and his brother, you know what you did? And he said, what made you do this is your ignorance of the tremendous sin you were about to commit. So what was the sin they were going to commit? Was to kill Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. So it appears, and Allah knows best, that Yusuf alayhi salam revealed his identity to his brothers only then, by Allah's command, just as he hid his identity from them in the first two meetings. So this is like third time they are meeting, and this third time Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam revealed his identity, and again that is only by the will of Allah, because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted. Allah commanded, so this is what he was doing now. So when the affliction became harder, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent his relief from that affliction, just as he said he does. In another place in the Quran, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in فَإِنَّمَا الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّمَا الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Verily, along with every hardship is relief. Verily, along with every hardship is relief. So it means whenever you have something bad going on in your life, you are going through some trials, some hardship, you have to remember this, that this is a temporary thing. It will go away, and inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring something good. This is a bad time. Bad time is not gonna stay forever. And with every hardship, there is ease. So then the brothers were asking, "Are you indeed Yusuf?" He said, "I am Yusuf, and this is my brother, Binyamin." So now is the time when it's like, you know, in this story, you see he is like telling them, "Oh, this is I am Yusuf." And imagine the brothers, what would they think? They can't even think about it. Like, our brother, the one we threw in the well, one day will be a king of Egypt, of a country. And king, we don't know how he got to that point, or he got that authority, he got that thing, the ranking. So it was like very surprising for them. Next, Yusuf alayhi salam said, Allah has indeed been gracious to us by gathering us together after being separated all this time. You see that it's been so many years, maybe like 40 years. We don't know exactly, but it's a long time period since he separated from his family. But when they got together, he's not complaining anything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Instead, he is saying that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this is the favor of Allah on us, that Allah gathered us together here, and after such a long time. Verily, he who has taqwa mean like fear of Allah. It's a kind of fear that prevent you from doing sin. That is tawakkul. That is taqwa. Sorry. Tawakkul mean when you put your trust on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do your best and then you leave everything on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is tawakkul. And taqwa is when you have fear inside your heart. You fear of Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me. Allah is everywhere. Whatever I do, Allah is looking at me. And that thing stop you from doing sin. That is taqwa. And taqwa is a very high level. Above taqwa, the highest level is ihsan, being good. It to give somebody more than they deserve. That is the highest level. And these are the people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. He is saying that who has taqwa and is patient, then surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes not the reward of the good doer to be lost. They said, by Allah, indeed Allah has preferred you above us. And may Allah forgive you. So he said to them, this is a big thing, what he's saying. So you have to pay attention to this. After going through all these hardship and everything, they were together with their family. But Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, think about him. He was with strangers. He was not with his family. So he suffered a lot. And at the end, now what is he saying? He said, There will be no blame for you today or admonishment, and I will not remind you after today of your errors against me. He then multiplied his generosity by invoking Allah for them for mercy. That is a really big lesson here for all of us. That if somebody is doing or somebody has done anything bad to you in the past, or somebody did something really, really, really bad to you that it's hard for you to forget, but we have to forgive the person for the sake of Allah. If you want to be forgiven on the day of judgment, you have to forgive in the world, in this life, in this dunya. Those people who done bad to you, forgive them. Because if you forgive them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gonna forgive you on the day of judgment. And the beautiful thing he said that after today, this is the only time we talked about it. After that, I will never ever remind you of this, which is very great thing. And I don't think anybody can do that. Maybe some people can do it, but it takes lot of efforts. It takes a lot of strength, courage to come to that point where you completely forgive the person. We sometimes say, "Oh, I forgive you." Somebody say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can you please forgive me?" And we say, "Okay, I forgive you." But then you still have that thing inside your heart. It's not gone from your heart. You have like the thing inside, and later on, whenever it comes back to you, like you remember that time, and again you feel the same pain, and you are like, "Oh, this is what he did." That's not forgiving. So this is the type of forgiving, the one he is talking about. It is the one where you forgive and you forget. Then you never ever mention it again, or inside your heart that you remember that thing. You try to, bury it inside. You don't bring it out. And then he, on top of that, not only forgave him, forgave all of them, he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please forgive my brothers. Look at the generosity. Look at his personality, what kind of person he is. This is very big thing. And I want all of you to, learn lesson from this. This is for all of us, not only for you, for all of us. We need to write it down in golden words someplace that this is what we are supposed to do. When somebody do anything bad to us, we forgive them. Forgive is something it's a very good quality. And those people who forgive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala love those people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in return forgive that person, the one who is forgiving. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah forgive you. This is what Yusuf alayhi salam is saying. And he is the most merciful of those who show mercy. So this is the end of our today's lesson. Inshallah, we will finish the other ayahs. Inshallah, we will do the rest in the next class. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.